Hello everyone, and welcome to the modules lecture. In this lecture we'll be learning about what modules really are, how to import them with an import statement, how to use them in your workspace, and also how to install modules from the internet that are not included in your basic Python installation. So here I have a notebook open called modules, and what we're going to start off with is how do you use them. And you've actually seen me use these modules a few times, but now let's formalize how we actually use them. So you are going to start with an import statement. So let me go ahead and jump over to an empty notebook. So to import from a module, you need to say import, notice the syntax highlighting, and then the name of the module. In this case, I'll import a built-in module in Python called the math module. For more built-in modules, you can check out that section of this course. But for right now, we'll start with a very basic one, the math module. Now, I can type in math, and since I'm using an IPython or Jupyter notebook, I can use .tab to see all the various functions that are available to me with this module. All right, so let's do a very basic one called sqrt, which stands for square root. So I can take the square root of 4 and it'll output 2.0 or 2.0. Now modules are really useful, so it saves yourself from having to write a lot of code, and more likely than not, someone's already created a module for you either online or built into Python for code that you were thinking of writing before. So there's lots of various math functions that you won't have to write anymore because they're built into the Python module for math. Now another we could have used is to specifically import functions from the module. So to say import math is one way, but another way, if I just wanted to import the square root function, I could have said from math import sqrt. And now you'll notice the syntax for using square root will actually just be sqrt of 4. And I don't have to specify that it's coming from the math module anymore because I use this syntax, from math import square root. So I explicitly told Python what sqrt meant throughout the rest of my code. Now as far as formal syntax and code formatting, you should put all your import statements at the top of your code. If you're using this in a Jupyter notebook, you should put them all in the first cell. But if you're writing just a normal .py file or .py file, you should put all your import statements in the top of your code. All right, as far as best practices, you want to try to use this syntax, from math import whatever functions you want. It'll save Python from having to load in the entire built-in module, and instead it'll just import the functions you need, so it'll save headspace that way. Let's jump back to the notebook and talk about how to download modules that are not built into Python. So there's two ways to do this. The best way is to check if Anaconda, the installation we used since the beginning, has the module already downloaded for you. So you notice the Anaconda distribution actually downloaded a bunch of scientific computing modules and other popular modules in Python for you. So the best way to install a module right now is to either open up your terminal or open up your Anaconda command prompt. I'll do that right now. So you notice here I have my Anaconda command prompt. If you're on a Mac, you can use the terminal. So what I'm going to do is open up my command prompt, and let's say I wanted to install a particular module I found online. And we'll discuss how to find these modules online in just a second. But what I could do is say conda, C-O-N-D-A, install, and then the name of either the package or the module I want to install. So let's say I wanted to install Flask. Flask is a web framework for creating websites with Python. So I would say conda install Flask. I'd hit enter. You'll notice a statement saying fetching package metadata. And because Anaconda comes with Flask built in, it'll actually install it using the Anaconda distribution. So you'll notice here, since I've already done this before, I don't get the typical message, but I'm just installing and updating right now Python. So that's one way to do it. I'm going to pause and jump the video to show you another way. Okay, so I installed that package or module using conda install. But what if Anaconda distribution doesn't include that particular module or package that you're looking for? Well, you can use pip install. Pip, P-I-P, is a package management system that's used to install and manage software packages, and it's written in Python. So most packages that are worth downloading can be found on what's called the Python Package Index, or PyPI. And that's spelled P-Y-P-I. And basically that's going to allow you to install packages from the internet. So how do you find these packages and modules that you want to install? Well, let's say I wanted to look for a package that allowed me to create PowerPoints in Python. You might think that you'd have to program that entire thing yourself, but you should always do a Google search. So for instance, I'm writing Python PowerPoint module. The first link is this python-pptx. So if I click this, I'm here at the documentation page. So what you should do is look around until you find an installing section on the page. So I click install here, and you'll notice I can install this python-pptx using pip install python-pptx. So let's go ahead and do that to show you what it looks like. So I go to my command interface, either terminal or command prompt. Notice I'm not in Python, I'm just at the terminal line, and I say pip install python-pptx. I hit enter, and you'll notice it'll begin to install. Now, I already have it installed, so my requirement's already satisfied. You can use -- to upgrade in case you want the latest version of this package. So, how do you find packages online? You can either just Google search them, or another fun thing to do is go to GitHub. So, if you go to GitHub, GitHub hosts a lot of these packages. So you can click Explore, go by programming languages, check those out. So those are actually the repositories for programming languages themselves. But if you want to find packages for Python, you can go ahead and check out Python, and we'll discuss this in the next video a little further. Sort by, let's say, most stars, and then make sure the language Python is selected. So you'll see here the second list, Awesome Python, and we discussed this a bit in the next video, where it's a curated list of a bunch of different packages for various things in Python. So let's say you want to deal with forms in Python, it'll let you know a bunch of libraries or packages for dealing with forms, etc. So another fun thing you can do is go to GitHub, search something that interests you, maybe web scraping, click enter, search, you'll notice a bunch of web scraping frameworks. Click Python, so you make sure you're only looking at Python languages. Go ahead and maybe check out this first one called Grab. So Grab's a web scraping framework. I've actually personally never heard of it, so this is also new for me. So it'll tell you what is Grab, it'll explain it to you, how to use it, etc. You can check out the documentation there. And you'll notice installation. And for most packages, pip is the recommended way to install it. So you can say, follow this line, pip install -u grab, and it'll install Grab and all its dependencies. Okay, so let's go ahead and review very quickly. How do you use a module or a package that you downloaded off the internet? You say import and then that module or package name. If you want to import particular functions, you use this notation. From math, import whatever that function is. So from the module or package, import that function or method. Then, If you want to download modules or packages that are not built into Python, I recommend you first try conda install, whatever that module or package name is. If Anaconda distribution puts up an error that it doesn't have it, then I suggest you use pip install, whatever that package name is. Okay, so that's it. In the next video, we'll go over a quick fun assignment for you to explore packages online. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you at the next lecture.